So let's add some rates and availability to our listing. We can do that either here, edit your existing property, or we can do it up here in your properties, or here, your properties. So we'll select the listing we've created. I'm going to use this one, set rates and availability. Okay, and go down here. So if we wanted to make the listing private for any reason, you know, you were renovating it or there was a problem with it and you didn't want it to appear in search results anymore, you just tick this. That's not what we're doing now. We're setting our rates and availability, minimum and maximum duration, change them to whatever you want them to be. You can decide whether you want the calendar always visible on your listing or if you want them to have to click on it. I find that always visible is better and it's a bit more user friendly. Now, requires confirmation. This is the important one really. If you don't want to manually update all of your bookings onto Glamping Stays, you would need to select this. We are working on the channel manager at the moment to make things a bit easier, more streamlined. At the moment though, unless you use Google Calendars, in which case we can integrate into your calendar. At the moment, if you wanted to confirm bookings first before payments taken, you would need to select this box here. And your cancellation policy, if you're happy for bookings to be cancelled, tick this box, but do bear in mind that a refund won't be sent automatically and you will need to manually send the refund to them. Save changes at the bottom of every page, and then we move up to the next section, which is our availability. So if you want to restrict your start dates so that they can only book in on, for example, a Friday or a Monday or whatever, you can do that there. And your first block starts at, this is your check-in time, so whatever time you want your guests to be able to check in from. So let's change that to 2 p.m. And here you can add, I mean I've just put those in, but this is where you can add, if for example your park is closed December, January or November to March, we can close it for those months and we just change bookable to no. So if you don't want bookings for any date range, just make sure bookable is no, and the priority function it's totally irrelevant for what you would be using it for. That's for vendors. So another range we could add, we might say, I don't know why we would want to close it for any other times, to be honest, but what we could use this for is to add any bookings that you've already got. So we can say range of days or a date range even, go to date range. If you were booked for this weekend, we would book out 19th to the 21st. Is it bookable? No, we don't want it to book anymore, so make sure that's no. And you can add that for as many bookings as you have. Now obviously that's quite a time consuming task, so if you did want us to do that for you, you can just send over a sort of screenshot of your availability calendars and we can update that for you. Again, if you don't want to accept bookings through the website, you don't have to do this part. If you don't want to accept bookings through Glamping Stays, you don't have to do this part, but just bear in mind that you will then appear in search results for all of the dates when you might know that you're already booked. So for the time it takes to do it, it might be worth your while. So always save the changes at the bottom of the page. And then we go up to our next tab to set our costs. So Your block cost, this is the cost of your unit per night. So I've set mine to £100 per night. And the display cost, now, this is the cost that we'll display to the customer. You'll see later on that the block cost we can discount for certain times of the year, certain dates, whatever. So your display cost, you might want to put as being a bit lower. If, for example, you know you're going to discount your block cost for nights in February to £80, I would set our display cost to £80 because that would be the lowest price. And then here, I've already put these in, so let me just get rid of them. Here is where we set any discounts. And just to explain the difference between base cost and block cost, your block cost is your cost per unit per night, and it will apply to each. If we click here and we would say on a Friday, we can leave the range unless, because this is time range and you've already set your checking in and checking out time, so we can leave this. But if for a Friday you want to make it £10 less, or £10 more rather, we do block cost because it's your cost per unit per night, so we would want it to be £10 more. Your base cost is something that's applied to the booking as a whole. So if you were setting for, let's have a look, for a range of months, say you were saying for everybody in January, every booking in January, so your base cost is your whole booking, your block cost is your cost per night. So if you wanted to say for every booking in January, we're going to give you 10% discount, we would go to, and we're £100, so 10% discount would be taking a £10 off. We would go to minus 10, and that would take it off the whole cost of the booking. This would take it off the cost per night. Oh. And then save changes. Any questions on this, you can always drop us an email, hello@glampingstays.net. And finally is our persons. So the most important one here obviously is to set up your maximum number of people, maximum number of guests here. You can, depending on how you run your site, you can apply cost per person, and you can count people as bookings. So if you wanted your charge to be £10 per person rather than per night, you can set that up here. Any help with that, just email us and we can help set that up. Generally for glamping sites, it's not something that we use. And you can also enable person types. So if you wanted to be able to charge different prices for children or adults, or you want to specify that certain units are only suitable for 2 adults, 2 children, or whatever, you can set this up and enable person types. We'll do that in a separate video though. But if you do want to ask any questions about that, just drop us a line.